What's good, guys? Your boy, Mr. Old School Rider. Come back at you one more again on the Mr. Old School Rider podcast. It's been a while since I've been online. Of course, I haven't fixed that hole on the, not the hole, that little patch on the side. Have been in the studio for a while, but I dropped the mic, but it's all good. Yeah, I have a very special guest from the adult industry, of course, and hopefully I'll be putting up on him this weekend. I want to introduce you guys, Mr. Teddy Tarantino. How
Hey,
you doing?
what's up, Mr. Old School? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, sir?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain.
So tell us about yourself real quick, and I'll come back.
So I'm basically born and raised in South Florida. Um, Lived in Davie my whole life. I've been in the adult industry for 5 years. Prior to the adult industry, I worked in healthcare for 7 years, and then prior to that, I did motorcycles for 3 years.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, sir. I love cars. I love film. So, to me, like the adult industry is not just about sex, it's about like creating something. I love movies, love books, love art, love poetry. So, when I found the adult industry, like making the films, it was actually like the first time everything like I really enjoy like came together all at once.
So basically, in the industry that you're in right now, it gives you a sense of freedom to do pretty much what you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone says like, do what you love to do, and if you can make money doing it, that's great. But a lot of ways that I made my money prior to this was doing things that I don't want to do. And not to say that I didn't enjoy healthcare or I didn't enjoy like the motorcycle business or whatever. I enjoy making money. So it's like I'll do anything that makes money. But at this point in my life, I've made enough money where I think now I can kind of do something that I want to do in a creative way. And even though making money is fun, I get more fulfillment by doing things that are more creative.
I heard that. I seen like a couple clips and a few scenes here and there. Everything is
Mhm.
pretty much like online right now. So what I actually noticed about you, you wear like quite a bit of masks and different costumes from time to time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like having fun. So like, yeah, part of it is like I wanted to hide my identity because when I first started doing porn, um, I was still working in healthcare. I was the CEO of a pretty big company, and I was pretty young. So,
Oh
I
damn.
have doctors and nurses that work for me that, 50 something years old, 45 years old. I was 25, 26, 27. And, I want to be taken seriously as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, as a CEO. So I don't necessarily want the stigma of an adult entertainer ruining my business persona or how people perceive me. So that's kind of why I used to do POV and wear the mask. But to be honest with you, I also just like wearing the mask. Like a part of me likes having sex and sleeping with a girl and having a mask on. I feel like that feeling of like they're not sure if it's really you. And some girls like it and some girls don't. Like a lot of girls are like into it. But I love Halloween. I love dressing up. I love being stupid and funny and whatever. And sometimes it's corny and like to me it's just funny.
I think maybe within 5 years ago, I think a lot of people pretty much been like into cosplay, basically, like different costumes and different things. As of
Yeah,
late, you hit it right
yeah,
on the money, man. You caught on like right there.
yeah. I mean, I just enjoy doing it. Like even in my private life when I was really young, I used to do it. So it's nothing new to me or it's not strange to me or whatever, you know. Yeah.
So, recently there was a meme that was going around online, and somebody sent it
Mhm.
to me. I'm like a big fan of the Power Ranger from back in the day, and I
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
at it, I'm like, hold on, like, no, I'm tripping. No. I'm like, oh shoot, it was somebody dressed up as a Power Ranger. I'm like,
Mhm.
man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, my friend has a giant meme page. So like even when I did motorcycles, I used to make memes and I had a pretty popular meme page, and that's how I became friends with a lot of these people who have these giant pages. So like I used to make memes and like to me, like a lot of people repost memes, but like you know, I'll take something and edit it and change it. And it's cool when people like pick up on it or think that it's funny or whatever, you know.
Man, so
It's like being like an online comedian, you know. To me, that's like what making memes are.
yeah, that's facts on there. You know, you have a lot of comedians or up and coming people do like a lot of skits.
Yeah, you got a lot of people that blew off from Instagram and social media that really like the fat Jewish. You know, like when I first started making memes, probably in like 2000 and man, when was this? 2016, 2015. You know, the fat Jewish used to steal some of my memes. And I used to message him like, yo, why are you stealing my shit and not giving me credit? And he blocked me, you know.
Oh man.
But you know, at the time I was like, you know, I'm not gonna make no money with this. Like I didn't really think Instagram was really gonna, I never thought Instagram would be something that like would be important. So prior to working in healthcare, I deleted all my Instagram and you know, I wanted to be taken serious. So I deleted like my meme account and you know, for 7 years had a pretty professional Instagram.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's kind of one of them things. So I interview sex workers from time to time. Most of the time they try to you know, they have to hide their identity. They may have like a corporate job or do like something else. They don't want to be identified. I do understand what you're talking about. You trying to, you know, conceal your identity back then when you was working in corporate America, basically.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there might be 100 people that are cool with it, but then there's like those few people that aren't, you know, and I don't expect everybody to be okay with it. You know, if I was going to go work somewhere or if my daughter was getting sent to a facility or a healthcare place, I don't know if I would want the owner to be openly doing sex work. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's most definitely understandable on that. So when did you take the mask off when you say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just take the show my face?
Like in porn or like when I decided to do porn full time?
When you went do porn full time, I know some people that do
So
porn full time, they still do POV or not
yeah,
just sitting their face 100%.
so in 2008, I started putting out videos, right? So basically, I have a friend in the industry. He basically like, you know, showed me the ropes, and I started putting out POV videos. And people don't realize you got to get hundreds of millions of views to really make money on Pornhub. And I put out videos, and they would get like 100,000 views or like, you know, 50,000 views, but they weren't getting millions. So I was like, all right, so what am I doing wrong? So I realized that a lot of the videos that were doing really well had a plot. So there was a lot of acting. There was different locations. So I did a scene where I picked up this girl from the gas station. I didn't show my face. I showed my body a little bit, but you couldn't see my face. And that video was the #1 video in 2018 on Pornhub in December of 2018. It got like 27 million views.
Damn.
And then I did a couple other videos, similar pickup style videos, and they also were going pretty viral. And then people started recognizing my voice. So when my voice started getting recognized, that's when I deleted all the videos. But for those 5 years, I kept making them. So I kind of had proof of concept. I kind of understood what worked, what didn't work. I knew that it could make money eventually. And I kind of seen it like collecting baseball cards or collecting like Pokemon cards or collecting gold, you know. To make a video would cost me like $1,200, and 2-3 times a week I would make a video. And over the last 5 years, I probably have 200 plus videos that are unreleased that I've just been waiting to sell my company. And I knew that when I sold my company, that this would be the next step. So that was about 8 weeks ago.
Oh shit, for real? Damn.
Yeah, so I've been doing porn full time for 8 weeks. I sold my company. I left the company I was with, sold my shares, and slowly started releasing videos, still making more.
Oh, congratulations on your new endeavor, man. I got to give it to you. If you're
Yeah,
gonna
man.
do something,
Like when I
just
sold
go
my
hard.
company, a lot of people were like, "Oh, are you retired now?" But honestly, like I'm just an individual. Like I love working. Like I'm obsessed with work. I want to work 8 days a week if I can, you know. And I'm always thinking about like the next thing, you know. Like I like healthcare, and to me, it was like a big challenge because when I first started, I was so young that no one really took me seriously. I was like a joke in the industry. There was people that were 40, 50 years old that were my competitors that would kind of look down and laugh at me or something. And, you know, I wanted to be taken seriously. And when I left that company, we had over 250 employees. We were doing 8 figures a year in sales and, you know, doing phenomenal, you know. So I was pretty proud of myself. And this is like a new endeavor for me. So soon as I kind of felt like, you know, that was kind of as far as I wanted to take that, I wanted to do something different. And this is like my next endeavor.
Oh yeah, we're in a digital age right now. You man, shoot, you was pretty much there before they exploded, but now, man, you can take the ball and roll with it, man. You can make like different streams of income off of what you're doing right now. You can also have your own masks and stuff like that, or costumes. You can have your own stuff like that.
So my goal, so I have a 5-year plan. You know, my 5-year plan is to have brick and mortar sex shops that have masks, lingerie, toys, all sorts of things. So I want to have brick and mortar stores in every major city in America, have a whole online store. I want to have like a whole entertainment company where it's not just me in the videos, it's other people in the videos. And, you know, I want to do that for like 5 years and, you know, really see how far we could take it, you know?
Man, you can do whatever you want. I know if you want to take your mask off, I know you're hot in there. I'm hot looking at it, but
I'm probably gonna keep it on now that I've been wearing it. It's either one or the other. It's I gotta keep it on or I gotta take it off.
No, do what you want, man. I know you're hot, man.
No, I keep my house like at 70 degrees. It's cool in here.
Okay. Yeah, I asked you to put.
Yeah.
I asked
you know
you
what
for
I
the
do in
mask.
this? This is nothing, bro. I'll be outside. I'll be in the Everglades wearing this. So.
Oh, sure. Yo, right now in Atlanta, it's like in the mid-90s out here. Yeah, if you had that mask on, you're gonna pass out, man.
Yeah.
Without the humidity in the South. So, what's people's perception when you first started getting into porn back in the day?
So I told my close friends, I told my family, and like to be honest with you, like I'm so like there's two sides of me. I have the business, professional, spiritual, loving. I love to help people. I love to do charity side of me. You know, I'm involved in church. You know, one of my close friends is a pastor. I'm a recovering addict, so I was on drugs when I was a kid. I'm still in recovery. I've been clean for over 15 years. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Hey, thank you. And, you know, there's that side of me. But there's also another side of me that, like, I'm never have a serious girlfriend. I love fucking super bad bitches. I'm always dating, like, a super gorgeous, drop-dead gorgeous Instagram model. You know, so like my friends see me with different chicks all the time or multiple chicks. And like, I don't go to clubs, I don't go to bars, but I do like strip clubs. So like my close friends know I like women, you know? And my close friends, when I told them that I started to do porn, they were just like, to them, it was like, oh, well, no shit. You probably already are fucking porn stars and OnlyFans girls on the regular anyways. You know what I mean? My family, you gotta understand, my family has been through so much with me on drugs. Like I set the bar so low for them. You know what I mean? So I'm also financially successful and take care of my family. So there's nothing really my family can say to me about like how I live my life. And I think my family knows how I am as a man, that I practice principles in all my affairs. Like I'm not gonna do nothing illegal. I'm not going to do nothing shady. I'm going to treat people with kindness. I'm going to be compliant with every type of, you know, thing that you can imagine with sex work, you know? So I think that they weren't hesitant about that. And they didn't really say anything. They were like, cool, you know, Brian's doing porn now, whatever, you know? My close friends were like, you're a genius, you know, like, damn, that makes sense. You know, you're probably going to do great at that, you know? I don't think anyone's really said anything negative, to be honest with you.
That's what's up right there, man. Hey, they know how you rock out. You basically do everything professional. You do everything right. Whatever you do, you go hard at it.
I do things by the book. I'm a hard worker. I have a solid reputation. So, I mean, I think one of the most important things for a man to have is a solid reputation. And a lot of people say like, oh, it don't matter what people think about you. It kind of does. Because if like everybody thinks something about you, you're operating in a way where they perceive that, and that's kind of your fault. Now, I care more about what my close friends think about me, and I care more about what you know my family thinks about me than I do other people, because it's like, you know, it's like someone trying to judge a book. They've only seen one chapter, whereas your whole family sees all the chapters, you know? So I do care about my reputation, and that's very important to me. And when I did porn, I also wasn't a little kid. You know, I was also 27 years old at the time. So when I was 27 at the time, I was, you know, and not just like your average 27-year-old. At 27, I had life experiences. I was a business owner. I was a multimillionaire. I had multiple businesses. I lived on my own. I provided for my family. You know, so at 27, when I did porn, it's not like I was a 19-year-old kid getting in the industry.
Yeah, you was doing man stuff, man. You was already a man before you even got into the porn industry. So you basically took the ball for whatever you was doing and just ran with it, you know, in a professional way.
I mean, and it's not, to be honest with you, I had more reservations about it than other people. So in recovery, we're taught to like think about our actions. Is this an addiction? Is this healthy? Is this hurting other people? Is this getting in the way of my goals? Is this fucking up my finances? You know, is this spiritual? You know, I have a sponsor. I sponsor other men. I'm aware of how this might look or what they might think of me. I do consider myself a role model in a lot of other ways. I do have another podcast that's a recovery, mental health, addiction podcast. I was involved in charity with kids with cancer. So when I was doing porn, I was taking all this in, and I was questioning if this is healthy. Is this normal? Like, why don't I want to have kids and get married? Like, I have zero desire to do that. And I really thought like maybe there's something wrong with me. Like maybe I need to get professional help. And I sought out multiple therapists. I went to like 5-6 different therapists. I didn't really like many of them. And I found this guy who was like a sexologist. And I think at the time I had like 10 years clean. I had been doing porn for like 3 years. And I just wasn't sure if I was really going to come out with it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be at my job. And I just like was at this fork in the road. And man, I went to therapy, and this guy changed my life. You know, what this guy did in like 5-6 sessions, I couldn't figure out in 5 years, you know? Wow. And this guy has a PhD in sexology. He's traveled all over the country, super intelligent, older guy. And he really broke it down and gave me the permission and the guidance that I needed to pursue this full time without having a lot of shame behind it or questioning, which is why I think a lot of porn stars aren't in the industry for longer than 6 months. You know, most porn stars are in the industry for less than 6 months. And I think that it's because they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and they're unsure about it. Their family starts to say things, their childhood friends start to see it. It starts to become a shameful experience. They might get pressured to do something. They don't have boundaries. They've never been to therapy. They have unresolved trauma. So, you know, I think for me getting into it, I was already cautious about it, but it wasn't until I got like professional help from a therapist that I really was able to dive into it.
Your mental health is very important in all facets of life, and I'm glad you mentioned that as well. That's a good thing, you know. If you're gonna do something, you at least have some type of help to kind of, you know, guide you for whatever you're trying to do and everything. So let me ask you a question. How long have you been into cars and things like that?
So when I was a kid, I was into like skating and rollerblading, and when I moved, everyone around me like played sports, and I wasn't good at sports growing up. I'm still not into sports. I've probably seen like 3 sports games in my whole life. I have no idea who plays on what team. But as a kid, I forgot that I had fell in love with cars. So when I was a kid, I used to like freak out if there was a Ferrari next to us. I remember my mom driving and there'd be a Ferrari, and I would be like, Mom, you got to get closer to them. And like, I was obsessed with cars when I was a kid, and I had a whole bunch of like toy cars or whatever. And when I got into drugs, I kind of forgot about my hobbies. I forgot about things I like to do. I wasn't really listening to new music, and really like drugs became my whole world. And then when I got clean, I kind of forgot about what I did for fun. I didn't even know what I did for fun. Getting clean, I think everyone kind of has to rediscover themselves. And I think about like 2 years clean, I started to fall in love with cars again. I was probably like 19 at the time, 18, and I started to really love cars and go on YouTube and watch cars and fall in love with car reviews and go to car shows. And then that's when I started dreaming about like what car I wanted, because prior, for years, like I would never be able to pick out a car. I would always be able to be like, this is the car I can get. You know what I mean? So it wasn't until probably like 3 years clean where I started to think like, okay, if I really want something, I can go for it. And the first car I ever bought was the Nissan Maxima. And it was gray. It had black interior. It had a backup camera. It was in 2009. This was like in 2011. So it was like 2 years old. And this was like the car that I wanted. And I Googled how to buy a car online. I read about all the tips and tricks the dealership does. And on Halloween, I knew it was the end of the month. I knew that they have to make their quota at the end of the month. And on Halloween, like I bought that car. And man, like I haggled with this dealership for like 3 weeks.
Oh, shit.
And I got the car for exactly what I wanted. And that was the first time that I had like manifested like something that I wanted in my life,
It gave you a sense of power, basically.
Yeah. It's kind of like, the way, sorry, my cat's here. So the way I see it is like, it's like fighting Mike Tyson. And for years, he's just whooping your ass. And like, for the first time, like I saw him bleed. And like, I started to see that, like, you know what, like he is human. You know what I mean? That like, there's a possibility that this person can lose. And to be honest with you, like I've always been like my biggest enemy, I grew up super insecure, super self-conscious. And when I bought the Nissan Maxima, that's when I first like had that click in my brain where it's like, okay, if I can make this happen, like I wonder what else I can make happen.
Oh man, that's good stuff right there. I like that, man. Build the confidence up and everything. So have you bought your dream car yet? Or have you bought your dream car?
That was it.
That was it.
Man, let me tell you something. I bought Ferraris, McLarens, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Lamborghinis, and there is no better feeling than when I bought the Nissan Maxima.
Yeah, that's number one right there. You was able to do it on your own with your own money, basically.
I mean, the first time you bought, and maybe people are different, but like I just never thought that like I would be one of those people that like I was ready to die. I've been smoking crack since I was 14. I was addicted to opiates when I was 14. I just never. I used to keep my money in my sock. I didn't even have a wallet.
Damn.
So like I really like even keeping a job. I broke down crying the first time I had a year clean, and when I went to go pick up my check, the check from last week was still in my wallet, and that's when I had realized like I'm not like a crackhead anymore. Because if you're a crackhead, the second you get your check, you take it to the corner store and cash it.
Man, you right about that, man. Being around the hood and stuff like that, you're speaking absolutely facts on that.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I come from a good family. Like my mama ain't raised me to smoke crack. I grew up in a nice neighborhood. I grew up in a nice house. My parents had a college fund for me. I just was so off the chain as a kid. Like, I just want, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, you ever see that video where a kid's like, I want to do hood rat things with my friends? Like, that's just what I was. Like, I didn't want to play football. I wanted to steal cars. I didn't want to. Sorry, that's my cat.
No, you're good, man. Wow.
But I just wanted, I always wanted to be something I wasn't when I was a kid. I always wanted to be thugged out, breaking the law, hanging out with the older kids, taking my parents' car, drinking with everybody at the party. You know, I was very impressionable. And, you know, it wasn't until I got clean that I found out like what it really is to be a man.
Man, man, we're proud of you, man. I mean, we're getting to know you today, but I'm proud of you, man. You've been clean that long. Also, a big deal about my channel, besides the sex and cars and other things, I never drank or smoked ever in my life or anything like that. But I
Oh, that's
had like
cool.
a few people that have been on the show before. We also talk about sobriety and things
Uh-huh.
like that, you know.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah,
like
I have
10% of
I
my
have a
show as
whole
well.
podcast called Hell Has an Exit, and it's like a mental health recovery podcast.
Oh, yeah. Tell us what we can find your podcast at.
You can find it anywhere. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. It's called Hell Has an Exit. Hell. Hell Has an Exit. And man, I've interviewed guys who did 23 years in prison that were innocent. We've done Holocaust survivors. I had the Wolf of Wall Street on there. I had Lamar Odom on there. A lot of recovering addicts. Some of the craziest stories you could ever think of. Man, people who have been sex trafficked for years, and now they're, you know, lawyers and doctors. We've had, you know, any type of survival story you could think of on the show.
So, since we're getting close to the end and everything, so whenever you did, what was your first scene back in the day?
Man, my first scene was probably, I think it was like a milking table scene. So the first time I did porn, I was like, well, I don't want to show my face. So I just did like a milking table scene where it's like, you know, it's a table with a hole in it and the girl's underneath it. And that was probably like my first scene with like some little rinky dink camera and some crappy lighting. I didn't understand lighting or whatever. But one thing about me is that like I don't need a full tank of gas to get started.
Mm.
So a lot of times people don't want to do something until they figure it all out. Like I know it's not going to be good for a while. You know what I mean? Like I'll do something knowing that the first one's not going to be good. So I'm not going in there with these unrealistic expectations. A lot of people won't start something until they know that it's going to be good. And the reality is it takes a lot of humility to do something that you've never done before.
Wow, that's most definitely right on that. So, whenever we get done talking, I'm gonna talk to you offline. But what's your final thought at this time?
My final thought
Mm-hmm.
about what?
You know, about anything. Know what you have to say to anybody at the end.
Oh man, I mean, I just, you know, to be honest with you, like, man, I love making money. I love cars. I love fucking hot girls and all this stuff. But like all those things are like extra, you know, all those things are things that we do to play and have fun. My goal in life is to really help people change, you know, so like my real goal in life is to, you know, let people know that like if they're struggling with mental health, addiction, anything like that, like no matter how bad it is, no matter how many times you've been to rehab, like I've seen it all. I've seen people go from Park Ave to Park Bench to Park Ave. I've seen people be homeless, become doctors. I've seen thousands of people get clean. And you know, if anyone's struggling out there, or you got a family member struggling on them, like don't give up and keep pursuing your dreams. And you know, if you want to change, like it's possible for anybody at any given time, no matter if you're 15 or 65, age don't matter. And you know, if you want to do it, you can.